Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. Diddy's jail was raided. They found weapons. They found guns, but the feds are trying to be slick about it, and I ain't falling for it. Kim Porter's book and her friends are back in the news. I've heard a lot of stories about Diddy's freak-offs, but this story from a Playboy playmate is on another level. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Wednesday morning, hump day, my third favorite day of the week. It just means that Friday is 2 days away, y'all. All right, I got a great show set up for you guys today. I got 5 lead stories. We're going to talk about Diddy's jail getting raided, Kim Porter, Joe Rogan, and a model recounts Diddy's freak-offs. We got quick news. We're going to talk Kodak Black, Rihanna, Patrick Mahomes, Beyoncé, Amber Rose, and Cardi B. As always, we're going to close out the show with question of the day and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Drugs and weapons seized in sweep of jail where Sean Diddy Combs is being held. All right, this hasn't really made a lot of mainstream media, and I'm going to tell you why, but first let me read the article to you. Federal authorities have confirmed that they have seized drugs, homemade weapons, and electronic devices during a sweep of the jail where Sean Diddy Combs is being held for trafficking and conspiracy charges on trial next year. The jail, which holds 1,200 people, has been under renewed scrutiny since 2 men were unalived last summer. The detention center in recent years has held Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator and currently holds crypto swindler Sam Bankman-Friedman along with Combs, whose lawyers have made poor conditions at the jail part of their argument during bail. Diddy, who is facing over a dozen charges of assault, has asked the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to grant his release after twice being denied bail by 2 separate judges. A federal grand jury will also hear new evidence against Combs next week, which is expected to introduce testimony from a man. All right, we'll actually talk about that testimony in a minute. So what I find super ironic about this is they're all of a sudden raiding Diddy's jail and grabbing all of these weapons and grabbing all of these drugs, and they're not saying anything about Diddy. From my sources, from what I hear, is that they do this periodically, but this is not normally the time of the year when they do this. They normally do this in the summertime, and they've actually never done this in the month of November. Take with that information of how you will, I don't know, but I can tell you one source that I have says that they were really just trying to see if anybody or any guards have been paid off or has Diddy have slipped anything in there. Of course, you know that, as we all know, that Diddy is a high profile person in there, and he feels like he needs a little bit more protection. Let's just put it that way. So from what I gather, he has had some people bring some stuff in there for him, and these interagencies, basically the feds, are going in there and just monitoring and trying to see if it's true from what they heard, if he's sneaking in some things to protect himself while he is in there. Again, this has not been confirmed. I could just tell you what a source has told me, but it all makes sense, right? Because how is this out there? It's not really on mainstream media. It's happened. And in the article, they don't really say anything about Diddy. It's not yes, we went to his cell, we didn't find anything. It's really just kept under wraps. It was just there at Diddy's jail cell. I don't believe it. They're checking on Diddy. And it just so happens that they didn't find anything. Of course, we would have heard about it. So we'll see if these planned sweeps will continue, but if Diddy's smart, he's going to not have anybody sneak anything in, keep it on the low, so that he could maybe try to get bail. One of the things I find weird that I reached out to Megan, our correspondent in the U.S., and I haven't heard back from her, but from what I remember, he was supposed to have his last bail hearing on Monday, which was November the 4th. This article says that they'll hear him next week. I don't really know what's up with that. Maybe his lawyers asked for a continuance. Not too sure, but I do know that Diddy does have one more bail hearing. I'll let you know the date, and I'll let you know, of course, the chances of him getting bail. It's not likely, but he still does have a chance. All right, in our second lead story, Kim Porter's best friend denies claims of a tell-all manuscript. All right, so as I was reading there in the article when I said that a man might be testifying, I think it's Courtney Bergs. For those of you who don't know, we talked about that at length in yesterday's episode. You can go back and watch it, 370 or 368, I think it was. But what is ironic about Courtney, I'll give you a little context for those of you who didn't watch yesterday. Courtney testified, I think it was in a New York court to a grand jury, that he has tapes and a manuscript directly from Kim Porter. And the tapes have 8 celebrities on it. And this is not a manuscript from like that guy that put the book on Amazon. This is directly unedited from Kim Porter. And he told this to a grand jury, and he says he has a flash drive. That's who I think is going to testify next week. But just today or yesterday, Kim Porter's friend came out and said that he is not telling the truth. And this is what this story is about, right? So that's the context. Let me read you this article. Kim Porter's best friend is shutting down recent claims that the late model was working on a tell-all manuscript before her passing. A new witness is going in on Diddy's criminal case. His name is Courtney Bergs, who I just told you about. He has asserted that he has a manuscript that belongs to Kim. However, Kim's best friend and caregiver to Kim and Diddy's twins' daughters said there has never been a manuscript written by Kim. She emphasizes that she was Kim's best friend for 30 years, including 20 years living under the same roof. And she says Kim never wrote down anything. So that is a huge, huge accusation. The fact that Courtney was just, I think it was just last week, Friday, in a courtroom in front of a grand jury saying that he has on a flash drive a direct manuscript from Kim, and now her best friend is coming out and said she's never written down anything. It's one thing to just say something online, but going in court and swearing that you have it, I don't know who to believe, to be honest with you. In addition, Kim's best friend noted that the family is also unfamiliar with Courtney, despite his claims of being one of Kim's former associates. She explained, I was in charge of going through Kim's belongings and distributing them to the family and friends after Kim passed away. If anybody would have found a manuscript, it would have been me, and there was none. Courtney testified before a New York grand jury last week, claiming he also possessed intimate tapes showing Diddy with celebrities at parties. Earlier this year, a portion of Kim Porter's memoirs was allegedly placed on Amazon, but quickly pulled down after the family denounced it and accused the writer of not being authentic. Kim Porter's best friend stands firm on her denial, although that Courtney's lawyer maintains that he obtained the manuscript and flash drive, which has been since turned over to the federal investigator's office who was involved with Diddy's case. It looks like it's going to be up to the feds to determine the legitimacy of this claim. So huge, not revelation, but huge progress in the case, in this whole flash drive case. The feds have this flash drive. We will find out soon enough if this flash drive really existed, the authenticity of it. Is it real? Are they lying? Like, we have heard for months about this, actually years. Jaguar Wright's been telling us this for years. But I think the big break, that's the word I was looking for before, but the big break in this case is the police have the hard drive. So we'll find out soon, is Kim Porter's friend lying? Or Diddy's kids lying? Because they say too that there was no book, there's no flash drive, there's no book, there's no nothing. A lot of other people, Jaguar Wright, now you have Courtney, and I don't know this Courtney guy, but the fact that you are going to a grand jury, giving it over to the feds, I believe him. If it was just somebody sitting online, like I have another story coming up about a Playboy model, like there's a lot of people talking with journalists, going on podcasts, that's one thing. But the fact that he's not trying to make money off this and he's going right to the feds and giving it to him makes me feel like he is telling the truth. And again, for those who didn't watch yesterday's episode, trust me, go watch it, episode 368. And Courtney says, and we have video of him saying it on the podcast, he says that there are 8 celebrities who you can see clearly on the videotape. And apparently that's the videotape that the feds have. So huge break in the case. Of course, I will keep you guys up to date and let you know what's going on. Let me know in the comment section below. Send me emails. What do you think about this break in the Diddy Kim Porter book case? Let me know. All right, in our third lead story, switching to politics for a second, we're going to have this Donald Trump story. Don't worry, I have something to close out about Diddy, but it is post-election. So, all right, our third lead story, Trump still eligible to vote for himself despite rules blocking most felons from voting. Are you confused about why Donald Trump can still vote? We are too. While Florida makes it tough for people with felony convictions to vote, former President Donald Trump will have no problem casting his vote. After being convicted in New York for falsifying business records, Trump is allowed to vote thanks to a 2021 New York law. This law permits individuals with felony convictions to vote as long as they aren't currently incarcerated. Okay? In contrast, Florida has stricter voting rights for its residents. There was a 2018 initiative aimed at restoring voting rights, but this was followed by a requirement imposed by a Republican-controlled Florida legislator that individuals must pay all fines and fees before regaining their voting rights. This added complication creates significant barriers for many seeking to vote. All right, a lot of people are making a big deal of this online. I kind of see where they're coming from. There is a lot of states where convicted felons can't even vote. There's a lot of things in a lot of states that convicted felons can't do. But according to the Constitution of the United States of America, you could be a convicted felon and be the president, run for the presidency. You could also be in jail and still be the president. I don't know if you guys know that, but yes, you could be in jail and still be an active president of the United States. So if you ask me, there's a bigger conversation to be had with the Constitution, but you know, when it comes to politics, I don't like to get too much into it. Like I always say, this is a purple podcast. We have Kamala Harris supporters and Donald Trump supporters. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's fair that most convicted felons cannot vote, but Donald Trump is allowed to vote? Of course, he's going to vote for himself. Or you agree with me? Do you think it's a bigger issue that the whole Constitution needs to be looked at? The fact that a president can be a convicted felon and be in jail and be incarcerated and still be the president. If you ask me, that's crazy enough. Forget about the vote. That's a bigger issue. All right, in our fourth lead story, sticking on politics for a quick second, Joe Rogan endorses Donald Trump after claiming he wanted to get to know Kamala Harris. So a lot of people are kind of like dragging Joe Rogan for waiting so long to come out and support Donald Trump. They think he only took this long because he wanted to try to get an interview with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, my God, I hear, because I watch so much Fox and CNN, like I get confused with saying her name sometimes. Is it Kamala? But I do know that it's Kamala Harris, okay? Thanks a lot, Donald Trump. Anyways, Kamala Harris. So Joe Rogan tweeted out this. He said, "The great and powerful Elon Musk, if it wasn't for him, we'd be effed up. He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, and I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that is an endorsement for Trump. Enjoy the podcast." So he had Elon Musk on his podcast. I think this was on Monday. It was a day before the election, and a lot of people are dragging him. I think this is not surprising. LeBron James endorsed Kamala Harris a couple of days before the election. You can't just have everybody come out and endorse all at one time. The Harris campaign had Taylor Swift, then a couple of weeks later, Beyonce, then Oprah. It's like you gotta, stagger it out. So I think this was probably thought out. I think it was planned. I do think they did do this a little bit to try to get the Harris campaign onto the podcast. I'll remind you guys, he tweeted this out. Joe Rogan tweeted this out, I think it was like last week. He said, "Also, for the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing a podcast with me. They offered a Tuesday date and I would have to travel to her, and they only wanted to do 1 hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in my studio. My sincere wishes is just to have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human. I really hope we can make that happen." So yes, he was trying to make it happen. I kind of dragged him a little bit last week for saying like, how could you tell the sitting VP that she needs to come to you in your studio and not do it? So I don't know. A lot of you like dragged me in the comment section and was like, well, she traveled here and she traveled there. Listen, like, I don't know, like even when she sat down with Shannon Sharpe had to be on the campaign trail and he grabbed her interview there. So, and the Oprah thing, it wasn't in Oprah's studio. You know what I mean? So, cause I would have loved to have heard her on Joe Rogan's podcast. So I like the fact that she didn't turn him down and she didn't say no. She just said, yes, come over here and, hey, I'm running a campaign. I can't give you 3 hours, but I can sit down with you for an hour. I'm just disappointed in Joe. I really love to have seen those two have a conversation, but it didn't happen. Maybe it will happen in the future. But anyways, no surprise. Joe Rogan has come out support for Donald Trump. And like I said, I think this was a strategic plan. They knew he was going to support him all the time. And it's just staggered. It don't make sense. So stop dragging Joe Rogan. All right, in our fifth lead story, let's jump back into Diddy. Former Playboy model claims Diddy was on the phone with Jennifer Lopez during their freak off while her music video was playing on loop in the background. Like I said, we all know Diddy's freaky. This is another level of freaky, all right? Listen to this. It just keeps getting stranger and stranger. Rachel Kennedy, a former Playboy model, recently shared a wild story about her alleged encounter with Diddy in Japan back in 2000 to the Daily Mail. She and two friends claim they met him at a topless club and was invited back to his hotel suite. She said, I thought I was going to a party, but when I arrived, he was the only person in the room and he had a robe on. She claimed her and her friends started doing some drugs, but Diddy didn't partake. Kennedy went on to claim that her and her friend both went into the bedroom with him. They got undressed and they started doing stuff with him, okay? And she said, while they were doing things to him, he was actually on the phone with Jennifer Lopez. She also says Jennifer Lopez's music was playing in the background. She said, I don't recall the song, but the video was playing on loop, adding that Jennifer Lopez was on the phone at the time. And if you recall that at the time of 2000, Diddy and Jennifer Lopez was in a romantic relationship. The situation took a turn when Diddy's bodyguard burst in furiously and recognized Kennedy from the night before. The bodyguard got physical with the woman, and she recounted that Diddy did not want to get involved in the chaos and walked away. So it doesn't explain really why the bodyguard burst in because he recognized her from the night before. I don't know. I didn't listen to the podcast, but crazy little update with Diddy freak off parties. I mean, we've heard 1,000 bottles of baby oil. We've heard this, we've heard that, but yo, dude, having some Playboy models in your room with your girlfriend's music video playing and you're on the phone with your girlfriend at the time while two models are like, you know, doing what they're doing. Yo, that's a diabolical, man. Diddy is on another level of freak, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And it doesn't seem like this girl is like telling a lie, by the way. It's like, it's not like she's trying to bring him to court. She's not saying that he did anything wrong or that, you know, there was anything forced or nothing. She's just like, hey, I just want to share a story. Like, that's why I actually believe her. And I like this story because most people that are coming out, it's like, yeah, he did this. I wasn't consenting. I want to file a civil lawsuit. Nah, she's just like, hey, I got a wild Diddy story. You want to hear it? So I actually believe it, man. But I'm telling you, Diddy, he's on another level. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Rihanna responds to comments about her not being a U.S. citizen. All right, on Friday, poor Rihanna. She's opened up a can of worms. I don't even think she's realizing what's going to happen now. So on Friday, Rihanna posted on her Instagram a video, and she said, me trying to sneak into the polls with my son's passport. And she said, vote for me because I can't. Okay. Totally just trolling, totally making a joke. But everyone was like, yo, wait a second. You've been in this country for, I don't know, how old's Rihanna? 35. She started at like 16, close to 20 years. How are you not a U.S. citizen yet? So that troll started, and then Rihanna started clapping back. I'll read you the article and I'll read you what she wrote after. She said, Rihanna is taking back to her old Twitter days when she used to clap back at her fans. Yesterday, she made a post encouraging followers to go vote because she cannot, because she's not a U.S. citizen. And many social media users flew into her comment sections and remarked about her lack of citizenship. So during one of her clapbacks, she said, "I'm not a citizen because of the taxes, you dummy." So, and I love Rihanna, but that was actually dumb of her. She's the dummy in this case. You can't go on social media and be like, yo, I'm not a US citizen because me not being a citizen means I get to save more money on tax. Because if you are, she is, I don't know where her citizenship is. I would assume in Barbados, there's tax. If there's a tax treaty, she could stay a citizen of Barbados and pay tax to Barbados and take all the money from the US and pay there. But if she now goes and puts that out there and says, well, hey, I'm not a resident because of this, and then the investigator, the IRS says, hey, how many days out of the year are you staying here? It could just start open up a whole can of worms. This is why you got to be careful with the clap back and the things that you do online. Even the Breakfast Club was reporting on this yesterday, and DJ Envy was telling Lauren LaRosa, like, yo, wrap it up. Don't tell any more of the story. So sorry, Rihanna, if I'm bringing more light to it. But yeah, dude, this is just, you can't let fans get you out of your bag. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'll follow up on this and I'll see. But don't be surprised if you hear that Rihanna gets a visit from the IRS and they start opening up her books. All right, our third quick story. Patrick Mahomes' mother wears a MAGA hat during a Chiefs game, encouraging the public to go and vote for Donald Trump. All right, Patrick Mahomes' loved ones have made it clear they're supporting Donald Trump in this election season. The quarterback's mother shared a video in favor of the 45th president during a Chiefs game on Monday night, wearing Donald Trump's signature MAGA hat, and she was seen saying, "Make America great again, let's do it." While Mahomes himself hasn't endorsed any presidential nominee, his wife, Brittany Mahomes, faced backlash in August for liking posts that were championing a second term for Donald Trump. All right, we wanted to throw this in here. We wanted to get your feedback on this. Comment below, send me an email. When your favorite athlete or their family likes a candidate that you don't like, are they still your favorite athlete, right? A lot of people were not happy that LeBron James came out in support of Kamala Harris, which I don't understand why that was such a surprise, but he got a lot of backlash. You heard Patrick Mahomes' wife. I'm sure now his mother is going to get a lot of backlash. Do you feel like this should trickle down into sports? Does it bother you that Taylor Swift, if you're a Swiftie, does it bother you that she voted for Kamala Harris? If you're a member of the Beehive, if you're a Beyonce fan, the fact that she's supporting Kamala, do you still like this, or are you totally like, yo, if you're not with my candidate, I'm not with you at all? Sound off below. Send me an email, trentoutloud@cfqr600.com. All right, our fourth quick story, keeping it Beyonce related. Beyonce drops Cowboy Carter visual for Bodyguard with a message to vote. Beyonce channels her inner Pamala Anderson in a surprise Bodyguard video, Baywatch. In the first visual from Cowboy Carter, Beyonce serves up 3 of Pamela Anderson's iconic looks, blending Halloween vibes with Cowboy Carter vibes and a reminder to vote. I love this. I actually woke up this morning and the first thing on my feed was this video. Of course, anything Beyonce does, gets shared and millions of people. And because this is the first video we're getting from Cowboy Carter. Big, huge Pamela Anderson fan. She's a Canadian. I'm a Canadian. Shout out to Pamela Anderson. But this was actually just shocking to me that she is dressing up as a white lady. Pamela Anderson is white as they come. And it's so shocking how much Beyonce looked like Pamela Anderson. It's crazy. I'm going to put up a picture of Pamela Anderson when she was on Baywatch. And this was one of the outfits that Beyonce copied her on. But the whole video is actually really kind of creepy because it really looks like Pamela Anderson. And of course, there's a hint of Beyonce in there, but just thought it was really crazy how much of a great job they did. I wonder if they did like different makeup. Well, they did a little makeup, but I wonder if they had any like Hollywood effects, to kind of just make her look a little bit more like her. But really shocking to me, actually, how much Beyonce looks like Pamela Anderson. Our fifth quick story, Amber Rose shares that she bet $15,000 on Trump winning the presidential election. I thought this was crazy that people are betting. I heard Aiden Ross too, who's a streamer. For those of you who don't know, he bet $1 million with stake. But I mean, he's a stake ambassador, so we don't even know if that's real money. But anyways, a lot of people are betting on the election. Are you guys betting on the election? Amber placed her money where her mouth is. The model has shared that she bet $15,000 on Trump to be victorious on this election. Are you guys betting? Super crazy, but yeah, I don't know if I would bet on the election, and then we don't know when we're going to get the results. So it's like pretty crazy. But anyways, shout out to Amber. At least she is putting her money where her mouth is. Has any of you guys out there bet? And if you bet, tell me below or send me an email who you're betting on. All right, our sixth quick story. Cardi B seemingly gives an update on her dating life following her split from Offset. All right, there's an article here, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's not even really that important. I just wanted to come on here and admit that I was wrong. When Cardi B and Offset announced their split or their divorce, I was like, yo, this is going to last only a couple of weeks. They're going to be back together. But by the way, that's not really like any big revelation because they've gotten back together 5 or 6 times. But it seems as if I was wrong. It seems like they're actually not getting back together. Cardi B tweeted out and she said, I'm telling you, the dating pool is horrible. I am shocked. But it looks like the divorce is going according to plan. They're still separated, and Cardi B is dating and tweeting about it. So not enough to admit when I'm wrong. Not fully divorced yet. I still don't know, but yeah, it looks like they've been separated for a couple of months now, and I was wrong. All right, this brings us to question of the day. What is the worst song of all times? All right, Halo82 said, any Nicki Minaj song, her music is trash? What? Yo, I'm going to block this person, yo. Nicki Minaj is top 10 rappers, male and female of all time, man. Boo for you. Real McCoy said Bigfoot by Nicki Minaj. Okay, if you want to say one of her songs, but you can't say her whole catalog. That's horrible. Mr. September 15 said anything by Megan or Cardi B. Wow, why are y'all hating on female rappers today? What is going on? Lala Monroe said Return of the Mac. DJs, please retire this song. That is such a good song. I can't believe that. But hey, I have a right to an opinion. Pretty Lips Susan said R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet. That was pretty bad. I don't know why he had to do like 20,000 chapters. Somebody else said Ice Spice's entire album. Yo, y'all are really coming up here for the female rappers. I Am Me said Lift Me Up, Rihanna. Lift Me Up. I don't remember that song. Somebody said That Fart Song by Ice Spice. Let's see what else we got here. Happy by Pharrell. Not the worst, but the song is annoying as hell. Yo, y'all are being harsh out here. Somebody said any Blueface song. That's true. He only had one song, but hey. Another person said Ice Spice. I knew there'd be a lot of Ice Spice hate here. What else? Jill Scott. I don't know why everybody is going on the females here. Sexy Red. Jason Derulo, finally a male. Jason Derulo, What You Saying? Yeah, it's not that song, What You Saying, is bad. It's just that they've played it too much that you're annoyed of it. So it's not really the artist's fault, right? Somebody said any Megan Thee Stallion music, Cardi B, Friday. This is really bad. Anyways, I am not going to sit down here and co-sign you guys coming after the females in our industry. You guys comment below. What is the worst song of all times? Let me know. Send me an email. Don't make it a female rapper, all right? Female rapper, all right? I stand for my female rappers, man. I'm loving female rap right now, so I won't tolerate it. Comment below. Send me an email. All right, this brings us to sports news. We kind of covered sports news already when we were talking about Patrick Mahomes' mom, but I did want to highlight the NBA. I haven't talked about the NBA in a long time. My team, Golden State Warriors, are 6-1. They are not undefeated, but they're 6-1. Phoenix Suns are 6-1. Boston Celtics are 7-1. Oklahoma City is 7-0, and Cleveland Cavaliers are 8-0. Just wanted to highlight, y'all know my team. Kansas City Chiefs, Golden State Warriors. Both my teams are doing super well. Let me know how your team is doing, man. All right, that is my Wednesday show. Make sure you guys tune in for tomorrow and Friday's episode. I got bangers for you. We're already working on stuff already. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to remind you guys of all the ways to keep up with the Trend Out Loud podcast. If you're used to watching this podcast on YouTube or on podcast platforms, please try to check me out Monday through Friday from 11 to 12 on CFQR600.com. You could log in from anywhere in the world, or if you're in Montreal, 600 on your AM dial. We do play the Trend Out Loud podcast from 11 to 12, but we also mix in 90s and 2000s hip hop and R&B. It's a great hour. It's a great way for you to just, get your entertainment and viral news while listening to your favorite hits from the 90s and 2000s. So make sure that you check us out. All right. Vice versa, if you're used to listening to this podcast on a CFQR 600 and you can't always catch the show from 11 to 12, we get it. You're busy. You got things to do, baby, Zoom calls, all of this stuff. We got you. We have 3 ways for you to stay up to date with the podcast. One, on the CFQR website, after you click listen live, there is a listen again button. Just click that. You'll see the Trend Out Loud podcast pop up. You have access to all 369 episodes. We also are on YouTube. Of course, you can go there. And then also on any podcast platform, wherever you get your podcast, the Trend Out Loud podcast is there. Just go to your desired site, type in at Trend Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And we upload daily. If you're like me and you like to watch your podcast, yes, there is YouTube, but Spotify now also supports video. So make sure you check us out on Spotify. You can check me out on any social platform. It's always the same handle, Trend Out Loud. Don't forget to follow the media company, Exclusivity Media, on Instagram. And lastly, for my CFQR listeners, do not touch that dial. Don Smooth is coming up next with the midday mix from 12 to 1. Don is always dropping the hits. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be safe. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trend Out Loud. Peace.